Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking the new Halloween BOA into the garbage challenges that are available over here on the Japanese side of the game. So the first challenge we're taking on is Revolutionary Army 1. So that was the team, those are the supports. Let's dive in. So with the new legends that did release on the Japanese side of the game, I do like normally showcasing them in like harder content, but I thought I'd do like a bit of like mini showcases when it comes to the newer legends, as most players aren't really running like the forests all that much. And with my Japan account just being like not having all that sort of fine tuning to it, it is a little bit tricky to actually take these characters in when they sort of struggle in air. Like forests aren't these kind of characters' forte. So they do struggle a little bit, but obviously with the right team, they can flourish. So on Japan, I think I'll try and focus on showcasing the newer legends in the like garbage challenges that are available at the time, rather than forests. Unless they're like a ridiculously broken legend, like Whitebeard and Shanks and Ace Sabo and stuff like that. They just do forests easy. Or if they're built for forests, obviously I'll take them into that sort of area of the game. But I thought that on my Japan account, I would take them into the garbage challenges that are available, do a bit of a mini showcase, and talk about the pros and cons of what I have been finding of these particular units. So with BOA, she's a pretty cool unit. She's nothing too groundbreaking, especially with what we've just had with Yamato. Obviously the come down from Yamato is always going to be like, the next Sugo is always going to be like, can it stand up? Most people would have spent most of their gems on Yamato anyway, so I do understand why Bandai sort of drops the sort of grading a little bit. But BOA's a pretty cool legend nevertheless. She is a 5x captain to free spirits, shooters, and quick. So a little bit more support for quick, which is great. Gives them another option as a captain, and adds to the sort of free spirit repertoire that didn't really need that much help. Shooters get another little bit of a buff, which is pretty cool because shooters are sort of on the rise. They have a lot of really cool units. They just don't really have this sort of like core sort of team, I guess is the best way to put it. But BOA's a pretty cool legend. She's 5x captain. 5x captain's always great. Flat rate as well, which is always really, really nice. So your damage is quite consistent. But she also has the ability to apply the mirror ability. Very similar to her V3, where basically you apply that love ability, and the enemy basically can't move for a certain amount of hit counters. So with BOA, if you take a shot and the enemy does not have full immunity, you can apply 7 turns of the mirror ability. Now, the beautiful thing about this V4 BOA, or Halloween BOA we'll call it, is you can actually stack that. So her super typing, after 7 turns, just after 7 turns has passed, you can activate her super typing, which is really cool. So I'm not going to say she's built around stalling, but she is sort of built around sort of taking it not exactly the quickest. Now, unfortunately with these 5x captains, obviously like 5x captains is a big power creep, and you're not really stalling too much when it comes to these units, but it is nice when there isn't full immunity. You do take a shot and then you don't have to worry about taking another. So it is pretty cool when that actually happens. And as you guys will see here, with Bello Betty actually attacking us, she gets that mirror ability applied. Now, she can't do anything for 7 turns, which is really cool, because like Bello Betty would normally do a lot of damage, and we are auto-locked onto Morley. So it means that we are pretty much just safe on this particular stage, and we can just sort of take this stage out with our normal attacks, which is really, really cool. Even though we do take a shot, we do put in a shot, we still have that mirror ability applied. With the super typing of BOA, she actually applies 10 turns of that mirror ability, as well as healing 15,000 of your max HP. So pretty cool super typing, but obviously does get completely nerfed when it comes to full immunity. But as I was saying, if the enemy already has that 7 turns of mirror, and then you use the super typing of BOA, you can actually apply 17 turns, which is really, really cool. The 17 turns is a really, really good feature. That way you can just stall a little bit more. Obviously you can use the other BOA's mirror ability. And as you can see here, we sort of just use it for shits and giggles. Like, there's no real reason to use it here, but I just thought, hey, let's use it so that way we don't take a shot from Lindbergh if we need to. But as you can see there, we managed to take out Karxma anyway. BOA has a pretty unique special as well. She is a base stat booster, which is becoming a lot more prevalent on Japan as well. The base stat boost of BOA gives 1,000 base stats to the quick color, as well as free spirits and shooters. So it's really, really cool that you can get a base stat boost to a free spirit. Like, that's the big one there. She's going to work really, really good as a sub for most spirit teams, as well as having some really, really good utilities. She removes 6 turns of special blind, 6 turns of attack down, which is very, very unique. And it's a very, very strong combination. There's not a lot of units actually have that, and 6 turns is nothing to scoff at. Getting around 6 turns is super, super easy. That way you don't have to worry about bringing supports and stuff like that. So her special also gives you a chain lock as well, 3.5 times chain lock for 2 turns, which is pretty nice. And if you already have a base stat boost, then you actually extend that base stat boost. Now, I don't really see where that's going to be like too beneficial unless you're using like both BOA specials on the same turn. But on top of her special, she has one of the best special animations in the entire game. I don't know how Bandai gets away with some of this stuff. Like, it's just absolutely absurd. But my girl BOA looking mighty fine over here, and she an absolute weapon. She's going to be a really nice addition to the quick team, being the base stat booster. She's always going to try and find a slot on there somewhere. Plus, she is a chain locker as well. She chain locks her 2 turns as well, which means you can bypass nasty abilities that give you like a 1.1 times chain lock. You can bypass all those really annoying effects like that as well. But as I mentioned, that base stat boost is the big one. Being for free spirits and shooters as well means that you can slide her onto a team that's not quick based, and you can use her on that OP like free spirit team that has Yamato as captain. So she's going to see a lot of play moving forward. I sort of didn't really rate her too much when she first came out. I did think that Perona was a much better character, but as time's going on, I am leaning more towards BOA as usability, where Perona just sort of has more damage output. So that was Revolution Army 1. Let's move on to Hody now. Alright, so moving on to Garb's challenge against Hody, or the Fishman Pirates. This is the particular team we'll be using to take down this content. This content is a lot harder than Revolutionary Army 1, so I might break down the content a little bit as we go, but I do want to talk about the negatives of BOA as well. So when it comes to BOA as a captain, she's a 5 times flat rate captain, and she is a captain to free spirit, which is really, really cool. Problem is, there's a lot of other characters that are just better free spirit characters. You have stuff like Yamato, you have stuff like Roger, you have stuff like the super type Luffy. I don't even know if I would say the super type Luffy is probably a better captain than BOA. I do find you probably use Luffy a little bit more just because he's super typing is a little bit more valuable. And when it comes to this particular Garb challenge, I feel like if you ran a friend super type Luffy, you'd actually clear it a lot like cleaner. But the focus is on BOA, so we are going to run double BOA. You do have a Sabo as well as another option. So Free Spirit are just sort of dripping with plethora of very, very strong units. And even though she does have that amazing tag being Free Spirit, she does have a lot of competition. So running her as captain is probably not going to see too much viability. You're always going to be running Roger. You're always going to be running Yamato if you have those 2 units. Well, 6+ Yamato, I should say. And it's just basically as simple as that. When it comes to utility as well, whenever you're running a utility captain, you're going to be running something like Ace Sabo, as Ace Sabo can get around Despair, you can get around Special Bind, obviously Yamato gets around Bind, and then Roger gets around Despair. So BOA lacks that utility that those other characters can provide, which is a huge, huge benefit to your team. An absolute monstrous benefit. And I wouldn't say it goes underlooked or overlooked, but it's definitely something that a lot of people sort of like forget about when they are team building and how like powerful that actually is. The upside to BOA and this particular team, as you'll see here, is we do have a lot of barrier pen, which is actually really cool, and it makes this particular stage against the Fisherman Pirates just so much easier. So barrier pen is one of the most overpowered limit breaks in my opinion, as it not only breaks the barrier nowadays, but it actually just like kills units. With the Mero ability though, BOA can see play as captain. As you can see there, we did manage to get that Mero ability off. It's going to help with stalling and stuff like that, and it is going to help as BOA, she does give a HP buff, and I wouldn't say she's squishy, but she has no damage reduction. So being able to apply that Mero ability is actually really, really cool, because you don't have any damage reduction. That's the big thing. Not having damage reduction means you are going to be taking a lot more damage. She isn't a Sight or an Int unit, so you can't use something like the Magello ship. So when it comes to team building with this particular chick, you are going to be looking at a lot of damage output, as that's basically what she's built around. She's a chain locker, she's a base stat booster, so you are looking at pure damage when it comes to her kit, but at the same time, you do need to think about what utility you are going to bring on the team, as she doesn't provide any of that with her captain ability. Another downside to BOA, she doesn't give any matching orbs. No matching orbs with a captain is actually one of like my biggest like pet peeves. It means you have to like think about it a lot more when you are team building, but the beautiful thing about BOA, she has access to something like Verse Ace. Sorry, not Verse Ace. Ace Sabo. Verse Ace is actually another really good free spirit character she has to compete with too. I totally forgot about him. They do have access. She does have access to Ace Sabo, and she also does have access to Shanks Crew, being the quick variant. So there is also that, where you can just sort of manipulate your orbs, which is a really, really good thing. The beautiful thing about her being shooter as well, she does have access to a lot of good subs that have now recently released. You can use stuff like the Fire Tank Pirates. Obviously, you have Ace Sabo. As shooters as well, you have Verse Ace. And shooters are on the rise a little bit. Obviously, you have the new Perona as well, and her batch is actually pretty good. That new Jewelry Bonnie character is actually a really, really, really good unit. Once we hit this particular stage against Daruma and Icarus Muncher, this is where like most teams start to struggle. And I did want to sort of start talking about this, because BOA actually did this really, really well. With the ability to heal, that's another thing that BOA has. Because she has no damage reduction, she does have that ability to heal 15,000. Which you guys might be thinking, well, Stump, it's only 15,000 damage. 15,000 HP. That's not a lot. But for something like this particular stage here, where we cop 30,000 on a burn, that 15,000 is absolutely clutch. And the fact that we had 2 of them It works so damn nicely. As I mentioned, if you ran a friend super type Luffy, this team would function a lot better, because you could use your super typing here to get the cooldowns, and then you wouldn't have to worry about like stalling one turn. But again, this is where BOA is so good, because you can use her super typing to get that 15k healing, and get around that nasty shot that Hody is going to provide. So BOA will see play. She's a very good unit, and I do actually like her a lot more than what I read on paper. I do have a PvP showcase with her coming out as well, so be on the lookout for that, as she's actually pretty good in PvP as well. But I will get around to the Perona showcase in the next day or two. I just got a lot of stuff going on with work and personal life stuff, so unfortunately for me, I haven't had a chance to sort of sit down and record with these units. Plus, we've had all the Kazuna stuff. There's been a lot of treasure map, but now that the game's starting to slow down a little bit, I can sort of catch up on the content. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about this particular unit. Let me know what you guys want to see next, if you want to see the PvP showcase, if you want to see what the Perona can do, because I will be getting those out for you guys as well. But while you guys are down there, don't forget to smash that like button, and if you are new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Let's